Tonight, one family is grieving after their loved one was shot and killed, marking the 8th deadly shooting in New Haven so far this year. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'm Annette Montgomery.
And I'm Brent Harden. Fox 61's Alicia Hercules talked to Ishan Ringwood's grieving wife today, who said she is shocked and sick of the violence. Alicia joins us now live from New Haven. Alicia, what did you have to say?
Brent, Keziah Jones says she is tired of the violence in the city, and now she says she doesn't know what to do without her husband of 20 years.
It gotta stop. It gotta stop.
Just 2 weeks ago, Keziah Jones says she and Ishan Ringwood celebrated their 20th anniversary.
It's just sad that he's no longer here.
Her husband was killed Thursday morning at around 10:30 on the 100 block of Derby Avenue. He was rushed to the hospital where he died.
Some kind of argument took place between groups in front of the Berger apartments, not inside.
Jones says she believes he was not the intended target.
And from my understanding, that had nothing to do with him.
She says she first heard the shots from inside her apartment. When she went downstairs, she was horrified to see her husband on the ground as paramedics worked to save his life.
And the machine was actually pumping his heart. So that's how I really knew he wasn't no longer with us.
Sparks, a friend of Jones, says he knew Ringwood to be a friendly person.
He was a good guy. People are losing their lives in a situation that's not even theirs.
Jones says they share 2 children together. She says he also cared for her 6 other children like they were his own. She says he'll be remembered as a kind person and a loving father.
He was just like the best brought-on dad. Not as a stepdad, but he was a dad.
Police say several people were outside at the time of the shooting. They're asking anyone who saw or knows what happened to call their department. Live in New Haven, Alicia Hercules, Fox 61.
Alicia, thank you. Time for a first look at the weather here, and the rain is really coming down out there right now. Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank is tracking those showers. Rach, I just looked out the window a few minutes ago, and it's pretty ugly out there right now.
It is just not a nice night ahead. We'll see rain come down heavy at times, and you can tell just by looking at this radar that we are not done yet, not by a long shot. It'll continue to fill in areas from New Haven on east through New London in the southern half of the state. Really haven't seen much, if any, rain so far today. First raindrops are just starting to fly in Putnam. Meantime, it is absolutely pouring right now in the Waterbury area with a quick ½ an inch of rain that's already come down. Middlebury too, and it's just not fun to drive through during the evening commute, which is already slower on the roads. The windshield wipers are going fast right now in Danbury. And if you live in Bridgeport, here we go. The heavy rain is moving in for you, and it won't be long before it heads into New Haven as well. We'll see this rain continue overnight, but the good news is it looks like the severe weather threat, including a tornado threat, stays just to the south of us, so we miss out on that. There is a flood watch until 2 a.m. Friday for Fairfield County. Some poor drainage issues possible. That's the best chance of seeing 1 to up to as much as 3 inches of rain. For the rest of us, we'll stay under those amounts, but still a good drink of water. We'll talk about Friday's forecast coming up.
All right, Rachel, thank you. We are learning more about this tractor-trailer fire in Southington. The good news is the driver was not hurt. It appears they were able to disconnect the cab before the flames were able to spread. We are being told the truck was carrying bulk stock and no dangerous chemicals are believed to have been involved. The cause of that fire is still unclear.
Right now, the debate surrounding flock cameras continued last night in Milford. Milford Police Chief Keith Mello said as of right now, the city will continue with its temporary pause on flock camera installation. That's while the city continues its public discussions surrounding the technology. Even further, Mello explained the stored data from the flock cameras will be deleted after 7 days instead of the 21 days that state law mandates. Many people called for a full ban on the automated license plate readers, saying it's too much oversight.
Most people are paying attention to who's crossing the road and what's in the road, not looking out for cameras. If they're looking out for cameras, you're not watching the road. There's better ways to handle this. You guys work for us. You did a terrible job at this. I'm asking you now, shut the cameras down, stop the fines, and let the Board of Aldermen vote again, because most of them will be voted out.
And as to where this goes from here, the Board of Alders will have a special meeting next Thursday that is going to focus on a potential pause and a review of the city's flock camera usage.
And just out of curiosity, we checked the website haveibeenflocked.com to see if any of our news cars have been searched in Flock's system. And in fact, the answer is yes. According to the site, one of our vehicles was searched by West Hartford police in June of 2024. This information is accurate as of July 31st. We've reached out to them to find out why, and we are still waiting for a response. Well, back to school means back to bustling morning commutes, and with more cars on the roads and more kids in the streets, the Department of Transportation and local police want you to know there is a zero tolerance policy for unsafe driving around children. Fox 61's Aaron Coogan is in Vernon with more on the actions state and local leaders are taking ahead of the first day of school.
Well, in less than a week now, areas in school zones across Connecticut are going to look a lot different. Kids getting out of cars, kids getting into buses. So the time is now to take the precautions to keep everyone safe.
Last thing you want is for you to be the driver of a car that injures a child.
Nearly 500,000 Connecticut public school students are headed back to the classroom in these next couple of weeks. And while those kids reconnect with their studies, state leaders are reacquainting drivers to the rules of the road, specifically highlighting the state requirement of stopping 10 feet behind school buses loading or unloading children.
This isn't just a safety recommendation. It is clearly the law. There are significant penalties for ignoring it.
Drivers found in first-time violation of the mandated stop can expect to be fined $450. Similar tickets will be issued for crosswalk violations and school zone speed limit infractions. And with nearly every municipality in the state investing in some kind of camera safety surveillance, ConnDOT Deputy Commissioner Leisha King says it's a major step forward in keeping our kids safe. But still, with 140 roadway fatalities recorded in this year alone, she says pedestrian advocacy remains a top priority within the department.
Of those 140 fatalities, 19 were pedestrians, 2 were bicyclists, and 42 were motorcyclists.
As for the responsibility to ensure every child makes it to and from school safely, Senator Richard Blumenthal says it takes a village, drivers and parents working together to watch out for our little ones.
Take your eyes off the cell phones. Stop looking at your phone. Keep your kids away from the curb when the buses are arriving.
And like here in Vernon, where extra police will be situated in school zones during that first week of school, other municipalities across the state are expected to do something similar, so it's not worth it. Slow down, come to a full stop when you need to, and make sure those kids end up in class safely. We're in Vernon, Aaron Coogan, Fox 61.
And speaking of back to school, it's move-in day for the class of 2030 at the University of New Haven. The university says it's received a record number of deposits for this year's incoming freshman class. Students arrived on the West Haven campus this morning, as you see, as the university prepares for several major changes, including a new business campus in Saudi Arabia, a new home for the Pompey College of Business, and continued development of the Elevation Center.
I think there is a degree of the day is finally here. Then there's a bit of trepidation around how do I find my way around. I think there's some on parents on do I really want to leave, but hopefully the support that they encounter here on campus, I think it's overwhelmingly excitement, but of course there's a degree of trepidation always.
Exciting. Now the school is also moving toward a full transition to NCAA Division I.
Well, the Prospect Police Department announced the unexpected death of Officer Andrew Borelli. Borelli was a 20-year veteran of the state police. He was hired by the town of Prospect as an officer after retiring, where he served for another 6 years. Borelli was a dedicated officer, a father, a husband, and a friend.
An Easton man was sentenced to 39 months in federal prison yesterday for threatening Fairfield police officers. According to officials, 42-year-old Raymond Newberger sent text messages where he threatened to kill officers with the department. He's also accused of yelling profanities and making obscene gestures at a Fairfield officer and continuing to make threatening phone calls to the department. Newberger pleaded guilty in December.
Attorney General William Tong announced a second agreement with the owners of the Beacon Apartments in Rocky Hill, formerly known as Concierge. The agreement requires a neutral third-party inspector to conduct quarterly inspections and develop a plan to address ongoing health and safety concerns. The deal also requires better communication with residents and town officials. It follows a February agreement providing up to $5.1 million in financial relief to tenants affected by unsafe conditions and disruptions.
Testimony in the Lindsay Clancy murder trial is winding down inside the courtroom, but outside people are rallying in support for her. Take a look. Women dressed in pink are showing up for what's known as Stand in Peace for Lindsay. That's rallies happening across the country today. Hundreds of people are outside the Plymouth courthouse in Massachusetts in support of Clancy. Right now, Clancy is on trial for the murder of her 3 young children. Now, while the prosecution and defense agree that Clancy killed her children, her lawyers argue that she had postpartum psychosis. That's a rare mental illness linked to the stress, sleep deprivation, and hormonal changes which comes after giving birth. Supporters of Clancy say her case is a wider issue of women's health and mental health in the United States. Rallies to stand in solidarity for Clancy are also taking place in North Carolina, California, and New York.
An incarcerated student at the Manson Youth Institution in Cheshire physically grabbed a teacher, leading to a brief altercation. The Department of Corrections teacher quickly gained control of the student and removed him from the room, and thankfully no injuries were reported. State police are investigating the incident, and the identities of everyone involved are not being released at this time.